So, good evening guys, my name is Isabel Hoffman, I'm a lifestyle chef and we had a small little technical glitch, but luckily we managed to sort that out. So if you have been following the cook-alongs that we've been doing the whole day, it is Viavi Thursday. The whole challenge was, let me just get my last little third of avocado of course. So the challenge was today to make use of the just one Viavi avocado throughout the whole day. So we started out with a breakfast. We made a beautiful French toast. It was actually a Viavi infused French toast that we made for breakfast. Then we moved over to lunch and we zooshed up a beautiful quinoa and chicken with a sesame crusted avocado sort of topping up for lunch. And now this evening, it is moving into winter. We have to sort of boost the immune systems, look after the gut. Remember, healthy gut, healthy body, healthy mind. So the question is, what are we making for dinner this evening? So first of all, let's just talk about Viavi for a second. Now, Viavi is not just another avocado. I actually cut up this avocado this morning. As you can see color-wise, I'm just sorry, the lighting is a little bit bad. Let me sort of just, there you can see. It has not even started to brown yet. After I used third after third, all I did was place this right back into the fridge as is. So this evening we're going to be making a creamy Viavi avocado soup, of course, because yes, we are moving into winter, and for that reason I decided to spoil myself because this is a soup recipe for one. So let's get cooking. Now, first things first, I'm not a fan of making use of dairy, and for that reason always prefer my unsweetened almond milk, of course. We're going to make use of 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. And how do we sort of get that buttery creaminess? Well, that's of course where the avocado is going to come in, but as well butter beans. Now what you can see here is I was a little bit cheeky. What I've done before, this is half a cup or half a can of butter beans that I actually just opened up. I rinsed them properly, and then what I did was I mashed them. Now, if you actually don't like the taste of butter beans so much, it's quite important that you do wash them properly, because remember, the funny taste, the briny kind of taste, is actually sort of in the liquid, of course, and not so much in the beans. So first things first, because we are cooking for one, I'm going to make use of sort of a small size little pot like you can see over here. I'm going to turn my temperature roughly on number 3 or 4. The whole idea is here you want to start heating up this soup slowly but surely, because the trick is, if you're using the unsweetened almond milk, you don't want it to curdle, and in order for that not to happen, it's quite important that it is at room temperature, and then from there sort of increase the temperature a little by little. So here on my induction stove, Bosch, of course, I'm going to add the temperature on number 4, and then start by adding my 1 cup of my unsweetened almond milk to the pot. Okay, so next in line is, of course, this is one of those recipes you can literally just keep adding all of the ingredients together. Over then to our half a can of our butter beans that we're just going to add there. And then over to our Viavi avocado. Now let's again talk about this avocado, because it's not just an avocado. First thing is I love the Viavi specifically because, as you can see, it's got a very small pip, meaning if it's got a small pip means more flesh, of course. It is also exceptionally creamy. Now for that reason, it is the ideal ingredient for this recipe, because what we're going to do is literally just mash it up quickly, and from there just add it to the pot. It is as simple as that. Now over to my mixing bowl, so I'm just going to scoop it out quickly, and as you can see, so I can sort of show you there quickly, just mash it up firmly. Remember, you are going to be stirring it into your almond milk, so it's quite easy because this is perfectly ripe. Just to mash it up quickly. Another sort of advantage of your Viavi avocado, of course, is it does not contain those stringy fibers, which of course helps it a whole lot when it comes to creaminess in a soup, like this one, of course. And we can literally, like I said, currently in my pot we have our butter beans, we have our 1 cup of our unsweetened almond milk. Now I'm quite a fan of the almond breeze, the unsweetened one, reason being it does not contain any cornstarch, sugar, nor your sunflower oil, which can all be culprits when it comes to the inflammation. So be on the lookout for almond milk products that does not include those ingredients. Now over to our sort of herbs and our spice and everything nice. Now for this, remember we are cooking for only one. This is half a teaspoon of your auric salt. When it comes to the soups and things like that, I do prefer the finer one. Always so important because you're going to be stirring it through the rest of the creaminess and all of the ingredients. So it's quite important that you get that perfect texture every single time. Now my herb of choice is of course dried oregano. I'm going to just add that 1 teaspoon. And let's just talk about ground black pepper for a second. Absolutely love ground black pepper, reason being it helps your body absorb nutrients. Now if you're going to make use of only healing, healthy ingredients, that is immune boosting, that is anti-inflammatory, you want your body to really get the most of that and be able to absorb all these nutrients. And for that reason, we are adding half a teaspoon of our ground black pepper. Now over to garlic. We are moving into winter. We are currently in lockdown. It is quite important to be boosting those immune system, and for that reason, I'm quite cheeky because I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of freshly crushed garlic, of course. Okay, and now just to sort of give that a quick little stir, because my almond milk is starting to sort of heat up all nicely. Now for that little bit of greenery and what we're going to be doing, I absolutely love my baby spinach. Reason being, spinach is an alkalizer, it is high in fiber, a fantastic plant-based protein, and it's such a phenomenal ingredient, especially for dinner. Remember, if you are going to be going to bed later, you do want your body to be in the perfect state so that you can get the most of your rest, or your evening's rest, of course. And for that reason, I prefer not to always go too heavy on dinners with lots of excessive red meats and things like that, because you might be going to bed. But remember, if you give your stomach a lot of work to do and a lot of food like your high dense proteins like your red meats to digest, you might be going to bed but your stomach isn't, which means you're not going to get a good quality sleep that evening. So just giving this a stir, like I said. And for this recipe, I'm roughly not going to measure this. Beautiful baby spinach. This is in my colander. I sort of just pre-rinse them quickly. Like I said, quite a fan of the baby ones specifically because then you don't have to cut the leaves, of course. And nowadays there's so many different kinds of spinach on the shelves because it's the young spinach, the baby spinach, the Swiss chards. You get the kales and all things like that. Kale, by the way, is also a phenomenal ingredient for this recipe. So if you've got that, remember maybe just a little bit less of the chili flakes we're going to be adding later, because kale does have a mild peppery taste as well. So just roughly a handful of my baby spinach that I'm just going to be adding here to the pot. And then we only have 2 ingredients left to be adding to this phenomenal soup. I'm just waiting for the temperature, and the bubbles are starting to bubble up this beautiful creaminess. Now, just for those people that joined now, just to recap our ingredients. So we started out with a cup of unsweetened almond milk, or half a can of butter beans that I have drained before, and I mashed them properly. Then over to my third of my Viavi avocado, of course. Now, one thing I do want to show you guys is currently on the shelf, these are exclusive to Woolworths. And now they do come in packets of 4, or you can even get the bigger packet, but the sticker or the sort of mark you need to be on the lookout for is this little sticker. So I don't know if you can sort of see it. It is exclusive to Woolies, like I say, but be on the lookout for this little one because this is going to give you all of the creaminess. Another fantastic benefit is it's got more than a 10-day shelf life benefit for the home consumer, of course, because remember, with lockdown, we're trying not to go to the shops every day, but we do want to keep consuming these beautiful avocados, seeing it is avocado season, of course. So for that reason, again, be clever, be mindful, buy the right ingredients, and be on the lookout for these avocados. Now, while the soup is basically almost done, remember your butter beans, which is going to be the reason why the sauce is so creamy and thick. That is already cooked. So this sauce luckily also don't have to cook for too long. You're looking at roughly about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's cooked to ultimate perfection. Now over to my red chili flakes. I like food with a little bit of a bite. Now a lot of people don't, prefer food with too much of a, on the palate, that too much of a burniness. However, this is a optional ingredient, if you wanted to call it that, but I'm going to please ask you not to exclude this, and maybe just put a little bit less. But I'm going to be adding a pinch of chili flakes just for love. It is almost Mother's Day, so if you're cooking for your mom, maybe on Sunday, this is such a fantastic recipe to make. It's, like I said, quick and easy. You can even make this as a starter, perhaps, if you're looking for smaller portions, or maybe you, like, not the biggest fan of creamy sauces from a dairy perspective, then this is the recipe for you. If you are vegan, of course, you can still make this recipe. The only ingredient you're going to exclude is, of course, then the next one, which is our raw honey. Now, personally, I'm quite a fan of raw honey. It's antiviral, antifungal, fantastic anti-inflammatory, but vegans don't make use of honey. Now, you can replace this with a maple syrup or of agave syrup, of course. Now, just over to that, I'm going to be adding that to my pot. And people, that is about it. So because it is, closer to winter, it starts getting dark outside a lot faster, I have sort of pre-made one portion of this soup, which I'll happily share the photo then, of course, after this cook along, so that you can sort of see what we are working with and what we are dealing with here for a fantastic, creamy, anti-inflammatory, immune boosting and alkalizing dinner, of course. Now I'm going to up the temperature then to number 7. Now you will know this soup is finished when you see your baby spinach leaves is perfectly soft and starts to mix so well with the creaminess of the soup. I'm just going to sort of finish that up. And if you are looking for any other soup recipes, of course, my book Mindful Eating is now available on the shelves. Also, of course, available as an ebook that you can download. And there's any and everything from creamy garlic soups to my farm-style vegetable soup. And all of these recipes, you can literally add an avocado to give it that phenomenal sort of finished look, taste, presentation. Remember, you do eat and feast with your eyes, so for that reason it's so important to make sure that you make use of good quality ingredients. People, while you have the time to spend at home and spend time with loved ones, there's 2 things that money can't buy, and I always say that is your health and it's time. So if you can start investing more time in your health, I can promise you it's the best investment that you will ever make. So from my side, I'm going to finish up my dinner. I'm cooking up a beautiful soup here. Like I said, my creamy avocado soup. Unfortunately, my laptop let me down a little bit, so I am making use of my phone. And for that reason, I could not really show you how I was prepping all of these ingredients. But I've got my little pot for one. My soup is cooking, and I'll be sharing my photo with you guys soon. So have a lovely evening. Keep safe, keep healthy, eat those vegetables, wash those hands, and be on the lookout for your Viavi avocados. Till next time, cheers.